What's up, guys? I'm going to go over a structure for a quarterly offsite. Now, to give credit where credit is due, much of this I learned from the EOS process. My great friend Mark O'Donnell, who's the head visionary over at EOS. So many of the things that I have learned about offsites has been from that program. Now, this could easily be a 60-minute video, and for the sake of me not making it a 60-minute video, I'm basically going to go over the framework. So if you were to do a quarterly offsite with your team, this is a really good framework to follow. Now, before I get into the framework, I think a couple of things to know is like, why are these important? I think that when you're having regular meetings week by week by week, a lot of times you don't have the time to get deep into the things that are really important about your business. Things that maybe take a little time to discuss, things like your vision and things like your values and things like maybe bigger issues that you just need more time to solve. That's why I like doing a quarterly offsite where we're going to go away from the gym, we're going to go outside, maybe rent a little room or something like that. And that's the sole focus of the day. The sole focus of the day is to get outside of the day-to-day and to really sit down and think about how we're going to make the business better over the next 90 days. Now, quick tip, when you do this, what you want to do is you want to set your quarterly offsites at the beginning of the year and put them on the calendar. A lot of times, like, 4 months have gone by and we haven't done an offsite. Man, I feel like things are getting a little bit off track, so let's have an offsite. No, you want to have it 4 times a year, and you want to put them on the calendar at the beginning of the year to make sure they actually get done. Again, without the sake of making this a 60-minute video, I could keep going, but who should be in the meeting? EOS says, the leadership team is in the meeting. I tend to agree, but some of us don't have a whole leadership team, and really think about the most important people in your business should be at this meeting. So if you have a part-time trainer that works 2 hours a week, they probably don't need to spend a whole day on the meeting. Maybe just take your full-time people, your full-time staff members, the people that are really invested in making this business a success. Those are the ones that should be at this offsite. So let me go through an agenda, and hopefully this is not too much of a dump on you, but you'll be able to take this video, watch it, and then be able to formulate and script out your own meeting agenda for your next offsite. Okay, so the first piece is a positive focus. Basically, you're going to go around the room. Each person says one thing that happened great in the last quarter business-wise, one thing that happened great in the last quarter personally. And I think this is important because you start to get to know the people in your business on a personal level just as much as you do on the business side too. The next thing is, and this is, after you do these things, you're gonna give people about 5 to 7 minutes to do this in the very beginning of the meeting. The second thing you're gonna do is WWs, as what's working now. Okay, so you wanna basically shine the light on what are the good things that are happening in the business. The positive focus is like one big event that happened, that's great. But what's working is like an inventory of, is our sales process is going well? Is it our staff members is going well? Is our retention good right now? Start to highlight the good things that are happening in the business. The second thing and the third thing here is what's not working. And this is a really important piece, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna start identifying what are the problems that you need to solve in the business over the course of the offsite that you're gonna have today. So a lot of times people will say, well, what's not working? Well, we're getting a lot of complaints on this, or well, we're losing too many people, or whatever. Focus on what are the things that are not working, because you don't want this to be all this kumbaya positive. You got to kind of face the issues at bay. The last question is, what are your expectations of the day? So you're going to ask them, this is an important question, because you want to know when people are coming into the meeting, what are they expecting for the actual day? And you're going to ask that question to them at the very end of the meeting as well, to see if the meeting met their expectations. Okay, so that's the warm up. Give them 5 minutes to do it. You go around the room, each person says all of the things, and then you that are running the meeting should be writing down the things that may become issues. So if in this section here, what's not working, you want to be writing those things down, because those are the things that you may need to get to at the end of the meeting when you're solving problems. Okay, so that's that first section. That'd probably take anywhere from, give them 5 minutes to do it. You go around the room, might take anywhere from 15 minutes or whatever to do it, depending on how many people you have. Okay? The next thing is you're gonna go and review your most important data points. Now, depending on how far deep you wanna go, again, I'm keeping this video broad. Sometimes people will go full-fledged financials. They'll talk about profit, they'll talk about loss, they'll talk about clients and churn and scoreboard and all those things. Basically, what you wanna do is decide what are the most relevant data points for the people in the room to know, to be able to help you make decisions on what is reality. Because that's what data is. Data is the reality. That is the truth teller. We might say something up here and be like, well, what's not working? Well, I feel like this is not working. And at the end of the day, feelings are great, but data is reality. And so this part of the meeting is really important to shine the light on how did we do? How did we do really? Because the data is the thing that is telling this. So you might see this and be like, oh, we looked at our attrition for the quarter, and I thought we were doing really good, but our attrition was like 9%. That's not going to add up. You have to look at that and say, like, 9%. That is not good. We are going to continue to lose too many people, and we're not going to be able to fill enough people on top of the bucket, so we're going to continue to slowly, shrink. We're going to shrink. So the data is reality. So I'm not going to, in the sake of this video, tell you exactly what numbers to track, but basically the formula is, what are the most important numbers in your business that's going to give you the information that you need to be able to move the thing forward. Okay, so that's 2, data. And then a lot of times from the data, when you realize things are not good, you would kind of take those important data points that I highlighted and you would move them down to here. The issues list is where you would solve problems. So that's number 2. Number 3, this is where you're going to go over what are the things that you probably don't normally talk about during the actual weekly meetings, right? You're probably not bringing up and going over your core values every week, although it's probably not a bad thing to do, but you're probably not, right? And so a lot of these very foundational pieces of the business kind of get to be glossed over. And I think an offsite is a really good period of time to be able to be like, all right, let's step back. Let's like, why are we actually doing this? What's the reality behind this? Why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we showing up to work every day? Okay, and I think that there's really 3 important pieces to this overarching theme. The first thing is the vision, and this is where we're going. And the ideal situation for vision is really just having a plan for where do we want to be in 1 year and where do we want to be in 3 years. And sometimes, depending on where you are in the meeting, all it is reviewing that. Sometimes it's creating it. And there's a different length of time for each one. If you have it, and let's say you're meeting in June, you set your 1 year vision in January, well then you really just need to just go over it and be like, well, this is what we said we were going to do. This is kind of what the numbers are saying. This is we're on track, we're all off track. But sometimes you don't have a 1 year vision, or sometimes you don't have a 3 year vision. And maybe what you need to do is you need to take the time to actually sit down and be like, what does success look like for us in this business 1 year from today, 3 years from today, and kind of outline and define that. Again, I could go way deeper into that piece of time, but understand this is the section of the meeting where you're going over what are we trying to move towards in terms of success, right? The second piece of that is your core values. Your core values are a list of basically attitudes and behaviors that define what is the culture of this business. What does success look like for how we behave in this business? Patrick Lencioni has a line of, the question for core values is how do we behave here in this business? And those are your core values. And this is a great opportunity to go over them, make sure your staff knows them, to maybe do some shout outs. Maybe say like, oh, this person did a really good job living this value. Maybe this is a value that we're not doing really well, we need to improve on. But you're re-going over the core values. You're saying this stuff is important. Peter Drucker has a quote, culture eats strategy for breakfast. Your core values are the things that define the culture. So we can't forget them. We got to actually know them to be able to say we have a good culture. So you'd review them. Now, sometimes in some offsites, you actually create the core values, right? And usually in the first offsite you have, if you don't have core values, this is the best time to do them. Again, there's a whole nother video on how to create your core values. But at the end of the day, if you already have them, this is the period of time where you're just re-going over them, re-clarifying them, making sure that these things are actually being lived. And the last one is your core focus. And this is straight out of EOS. Core focus is basically brought up into 2 things. One of them is your purpose. And the second one is your niche, okay? And your purpose is basically why, it answers the question, why does this business exist? So for example, for my consulting business, my business exists to transform the lives of small business owners or gym owners, right? My gym is transform the lives of people age 40 plus. That's what my purpose is. We're trying to do this. It's not about losing weight. It's not about making money. This purpose, the purpose of it is to transform lives. It's a bigger, greater good type of thing, okay? And the second thing is your niche. And your niche is, what do we want to be the best in the world at, okay? And your niche is this filter. It basically helps you make decisions. It's like, all right, if we're going to be the gym that helps people over 40 lose fat, and we want to be the best in the world at that in our area, well, all of a sudden, if you started a new yoga program, or you're, getting into the supplement business as a side hustle, you're essentially being distracted. And what the niche does is the niche helps keep you focused. It acts as a filter where you can ask yourself this question: we have decided we want to be the best in the world at this. Is this opportunity that came across my plate helping us become better at being the best in the world at this? So it's a filter. So your niche is a really important part of your core focus. But you have those two things. Now, some parts of the meeting, you'll create it. Some other parts of the meeting, you'll go over it and just make sure it's still the thing that you're focused on. Okay? Going to number 4, this is where you would go over the organizational chart. EOS calls it the accountability chart. You can call it an org chart. But this is a very important piece of it. This is something I go over. Every offsite meeting, I always go over this. And it's basically a chart that says, do you have the right people in the right seats? And again, it's a whole nother video I could go over how to do an org chart. That's not the purpose of it. The purpose of this video is really to give you a good framework for how to run a quarterly offsite. What you may need to do is refer to a different video where I go over an org chart and accountability chart. Okay, but this is where you would go over it. Now, just a couple quick tips here. Really important piece on this. This structure of a business needs to be, what is the roles that this business needs first, and then the right people second. A lot of times what we do is we try to say, oh, this person's really good at this, so let's go put them over here. But no, you have to think of the company. What does the business actually need? What's the right structure for the business right now? And then put the people in the seats. It's kind of, a lot of times we do this backwards where we got, oh, this guy's really good at this, let me put him here. And it usually always backfires. So you have to put the boxes up of what does this business need, and then put the people in the seats. Okay, so that's number 4, you're going over org chart. Okay, right people, right seats. Number 5 is, this is where you'll solve problems. And solving problems are done in a framework called IDS. Okay, identify, discuss, and solve. And so what you'll be doing is, through the positive focus, through reviewing data, through going over the vision and values, through going through the org chart, you're starting to create a list of things you need to solve. Sometimes it's discussing problems. Sometimes it's discussing opportunities. Maybe something came across your plate in the vision and we have this new opportunity to open up another gym or anything like that. That's something that can be discussed. So basically at this point in the meeting, you're bringing things down to this list here, and then boom, one by one, you're sitting down and discussing it. Now, without me going deep into this, I'm going to go over very briefly the S. And the S is the solve. So you're going to identify what the actual issue is, you're going to discuss it, and then you're going to solve it. And when a solve means that there's a to-do. There's something that's done. We discussed it, we decided, and then we assigned someone to do something. Problems don't get solved by discussing it. Problems get solved by action. So you want to make sure that every time you discuss something and solve a problem, there's an action step that is created from that, and it's assigned to a specific person. That's a really, really important piece of that, right? And so this is anywhere from, maybe you find the most important issues that need to be discussed. Maybe this is like a time frame you give yourself. 60 minutes to do this, or even 90 minutes to do this, or even 2 hours to do this, where you basically line them up and knock them down. What are the problems that we got? What are the opportunities that we have that need to be discussed? And then we go and we solve them. Okay? Then after part number 6, you're going to do what's called the rock selection. Rocks are your quarterly goals. These are the things that you're going to set goals for the company for the upcoming quarter. Now, think of it goals like a house, okay? How do you make your house more valuable? Would putting a new roof on the house be a valuable project? Or painting the bathroom door in the basement pink be a valuable project? I think we would agree that the roof would be the one that makes the business more valuable. And that's what you want to do in this section. You want to decide what are the goals that need to set at this meeting that we can accomplish by the next meeting, which is anywhere from 90 to 120 days away, that would make the business more valuable, okay? Some of the projects could be around hiring people. Some of the projects could be around documenting systems. Some of the projects could be around what are the things that we need to create in the business? Is there new marketing plans that need to be created? What are the projects, goals that need to be set that can be accomplished and done by the next meeting? Okay? So that is number 4. You're going to select the most important. Typically, EOS has a solution of 3 to 7 for the company. So we're probably not going to have more than 3 to 7 goals to be able to have for the company. Okay, again, glossed over that a little bit. Could have gone way deeper on that. Don't want to make this an hour-long video. But I'm just giving you, again, I want you to look at this as like, all right, if I'm going to do an offsite with my team, what the hell do I actually do? This is a framework for you to actually follow. Okay, and the last thing you would do is the meeting recap. This is where you ask them 3 questions. The first question is, where's your head? All right, we wanted to see, sometimes people's heads are, oh man, my head is full. I'm like, well, I just did this for a whole day and I'm like shot. Sometimes people, my head is really clear. And that's what a lot of times you'll hear. A lot of people say, oh, my head is clear. I came into this, there's a lot of uncertainties around everything in this business, but I really feel like we hashed a lot of things out, we discussed a lot of things, and I feel really good about what we're going to do in the next 90 days. The second question is, were your expectations met? Okay, this is like from that question up here, what are my expectations? A lot of times people say expectations is, I don't know what to expect. This is my first offsite. Sometimes I expect to have more clarity. There's a lot of things I'm confused about. And what we're doing is we're trying to see, did we meet the expectations and the purpose of the meeting? And the last thing is you're going to rate it from a scale of 1 to 10. You're not rating how your business is doing from a scale of 1 to 10. You're rating the effectiveness of this process. How well did we move through this process? How well did we set our rocks? How well did we solve issues? How well did we make decisions based on our organizational chart? And going from there. So that is the recap, a long-winded recap of, again, I could have easily made this video way longer, but I wanted to just give you a framework, and you can take a picture of that or really write this down, but you can go into your next company offsite with your key people prepared, right? That you're kind of showing up like a pro. You're like, all right, this is what we're going to do today, and I'm going to lead you guys through it. And it will take some time. Like, it took me a really long time, and I had Mark O'Donnell from EOS lead me through this, I don't know how many times, so many times, right? And it took time and practice, but you'll get better at it over time. But if you have a squad and a staff and you get them to an offsite and you spend an entire day working on your business, the whole Gerber thing, this is true working on the business, man, you're going to walk out of these meetings feeling really good, really strong, and really clear about the future of your business. So hopefully this video is helpful, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.